It's a big issue. We lose on average one person per week to suicide in our county, and that's a huge amount. We're higher than the national average, and we need to all sort of be doing something about it, really. I think, people are sometimes quite shocked when we look at statistics. In sort of nationally, we lose 6,000 people every year to suicide, which is like 3 times more than the number of people who die on our roads every year. It's such a big issue, and it's still an issue that people do find it hard to talk about because it's the S word. We don't want to talk about suicide, and I think our message is very much that we need to be talking about suicide, and we all need to be seeing it as an issue that we need to realise we can have a role to play within. We have to see it as a community-wide issue.
Statistically, Cumbria's suicide figures are above the national average. So just why is this?
Yeah. I think a lot of it is access to services. We are a big county geographically with not a huge amount of people living in it, and I think sometimes to access services with our infrastructure of reduced bus, all sorts of things have that impact, don't they? So I think that's one of the main things. Socioeconomic disadvantage, isolation, all of that plays a part. But I think so that's why, coming from that community perspective, we've trained, funded by public health, we've now trained 6,000 people in some level of suicide prevention, which is great, isn't it? Because actually, hopefully, there's going to be more people aware and alert and willing to maybe have those conversations. Because I always ask people to attend with 2 hats on, their work hat, but also their role within the community. Because if we all feel maybe we could do something, then maybe we can make that difference.
So what are organisations like Carlisle and Eden Mind doing to help lower suicide figures in our county?
We've just had a 3-hour suicide alertness training. It's been organised through Cumbria County Council Public Health. We're in Cumbria House today. We've had about 10 people today attend. Varies, sometimes we have any between sort of about... we normally sort of suggest between about 8 or 10 to 22 in a room, and again they've been sort of it's a mixture of groups. It's an open session, so most people have been working for the council today, but a whole range of jobs. So not just sort of health and social workers, but actually a sort of wider remit.
Often symptoms of suicide are well hidden, but what can we do as individuals to help people who might be suffering?
My main message is be helpfully nosy, which I think is a really important one. Pick up maybe changes in what someone's saying or how they're behaving, and I think we need to realise that if somebody's feeling suicidal, it's very hard for them to come and say, I'm suicidal, help me. On the whole, what we need is sort of, they might be inviting help, but it might be hard for them to actually ask for help directly. So it's being helpfully nosy to sort of pick up on that. Then being aware that we're not going to make things worse, being aware that if we talk about suicide, we will not make things worse. We will not plant the seed in someone's head, which I think often people are really worried about. Well, if I ask somebody, I might make them think of suicide. That doesn't happen. You won't plant that seed. And I think looking after each other is important, being aware. It's that whole community mindedness, but also looking after ourselves, because I think it can feel quite overwhelming, and we might think, oh, well, I better not get involved because it will become too overwhelming for me. You can just play your part, and I think it's realising what other resources are there, skilling ourselves up, making ourselves aware of what resources are there, and that's probably about it. Yeah.